Assalamu alaikum. This is your main man of the podcast, just coming back to I guess grace the podcast with my presence. I don't know. Maybe you guys are tired of me, but you can't be tired of me anymore because guess what? I'm announcer and host Maju today. I've been announcing your goals all last week. Inshallah, you guys enjoyed it. I do want your feedback if you liked it or what we can change. Even if hey, we need a better megaphone because you guys couldn't hear us on the side. Like, give us your feedback. We really want to hear from you. But that being said, I'm gonna get my co-hosts in. The one, the only, the one with the beautiful hair, who's always there. I don't know what else I can do. Salman Azmat.
Yo, you're not gonna say mashallah? How rude! How rude of you! What the heck?
And the one, the
Yo,
youngest.
you still didn't say mashallah, man. Come on. You think I was joking?
Mashallah,
There you go,
Mr.
mashallah.
May your hair be forever young, forever dark. I don't know what
Not
else
me.
I got, but the young OC member, we got to watch our P's and Q's. Mr. Abdullah, I live in the TML Toronto Maple Leaf world. Patel.
Assalamualaikum, guys.
Um,
Glad to be back. Always a pleasure to be on the podcast. So, hopefully you guys are happy to see me.
And we've also been just a few minutes ago, graciously, Mr. Big Man himself, Omar Asawi, has stepped in.
boo! Boo!
Okay,
my haters,
so-
my haters make me famous, guys.
Is that how your students greet you too?
Only when I'm with you.
Oh, okay.
So what's his hate? Why do you have hate going on, man?
I mean,
no idea.
Salman's been a little upset since he learned that Winnipeg might lose their franchise again.
Let's not talk about that, all right? What do you mean again?
Again? What
Not
do you
gonna
mean
happen.
again?
Yeah, come on. We all know that they lost it once already. So
We're not doing this right now.
okay. So let's jump right in. We had a busy week, an interesting week because people were there, and we started something different. We started announcing goals, and now I think people really want to find a way. Oh, we got a little cat coming in.
My bad, guys.
We started announcing goals, so I think people want to hear their name on the horn now. So let's just jump right into the first game. We didn't waste a lot of time starting to get goals. We had Haya versus Taqwa, and Haya took it 3-2. So anyone want to jump in with their thoughts?
I can jump on. This was my team. I actually wasn't here at the game last week, but
So that's why they won.
yeah, based
Oof.
on it might be that. But yeah, basically just based off the score sheets and kind of watching some of the footage, Haya scored. We scored fairly early on in the first period, and it was kind of held that way the entire kind of game. Watching it, we had a lot of chances and a lot of possession in the offensive zone. And so just having that the our GMs all three here last week makes a big difference. Having early on in the season missing Akib for a couple of games really hurt us. So now I think we're starting to see, I guess, Haya playing with a bit more chemistry and a bit more urgency to kind of get it in. And so it was 2-0 at the half, Haya, and it's good to see Zaid Khalil scoring. That's, I think, his goal in back-to-back games. So it's good to see our earlier picks starting to get on the score sheet. And another goal for Yusuf Siddiqui, which I think is like 4 or 5 on the season now. So he might be kind of up there for that scoring title. So I believe it was 2-0 at the half, and then Dakwa scored earlier in the second half with a goal, I believe, from Huzaifa Panchbaya, if I'm not mistaken. No, it was a goal from Arif Khan. And so
I saw that snipe. It was dirty, top cheese. But he did get it from Huzaifa, but that was just a beauty to watch.
yeah, definitely. And so I think Taqwa had taking another loss in the season it definitely doesn't, paint the entire picture of their team. They've been battling a couple of injuries, some suspensions earlier in the season. But most of their games have been, 1 goal, 2 goal games, and so they haven't really been blown out a whole lot. And so Haya ended up taking the win this week, and maybe there'll be some roster moves for Takwa and the teams that are maybe in that slump as we approach the Ramadan break.
Have you heard anything about those roster moves? What do you
Uh,
got for us?
I've heard a couple. I think maybe we'll. I haven't seen the slide deck for today, so I don't know if we're going to be highlighting it later in the season. Maybe it's later in this episode. So maybe Asawi can enlighten us.
Hey, man.
While you guys are still discussing it, let me just jump around and find it to make sure. But I do want to touch base that Takwa was taking a few penalties, and I think they got a little bit lucky here and there. But any thoughts on just Abdullah? How's the power play been going on for you guys? It seems like you guys are not able to capitalize when you really need to.
I think the power play in general for us has been kind of a weaker point on our offensive zone. I think just figuring out what to do with the extra man. And we have a couple of younger players on our team, so we really kind of utilize a lot of the youth kind of on the power play. And so you have Akib, you have Luke, you have Suf kind of at that back end, really trying to get shots on net and create the plays. And I think it is coming for us. And so hopefully in the future we can I guess build off of our power plays. But I think power plays are definitely a big reason why a lot of our games are dragging on into those later moments with those nail butter 1 goal, 2 goal leads. I think going back to week 2 or week 3, we were actually on the power play and we gave up a shorthanded goal against Subber, which ended up being the game winner, which gave us our first loss of the season. So definitely something that we need to work on. But I think as more and more power plays go on and as we kind of just build that team chemistry, I think we should start picking up, hopefully, inshallah, later on as we get on into the season.
So, Omar, we actually don't have a slide for the transaction, but are you allowed to share it? Please go ahead.
Yeah, it's been approved and it's gone through. So, one noticeable absence from Takwa was Yusuf Ingar. He was not there, and it does appear that he was battling a bit of an injury this season, and it seemed to be getting progressively worse as opposed to progressively better. And so he's made the decision that he's going to rehab. And he's going to try to heal up and come back stronger, inshallah, next time. So he has dropped. And coming in his place is the infamous Adil Patel. And so he is also known as Hockey Stick Man of Islam and Muslim ball hockey. And I think that, he's a phenomenal player, right? And I think that one of the biggest holes in the Takwa roster has been on D, right? So they brought Kazi in, and Kazi is a phenomenal defenseman, but he's probably better served playing forward. And Adel can really control the entire game from the back there. And so I think that they tried to explore the trade market, and nothing materialized. And so this is I think probably the best scenario for them. And so having Huzaifa and Abu and Huzi, and Kazi and Adel right on as the 4, and then you probably you slot Ismail Mandra or you slot Arif in there as well. And I mean, as people say, Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, it's I definitely heard some rumblings around Stephen Leacock Arena of who Takwa was looking to get. So even trying to talk about T Park guys. So there were some rumors, but alhamdulillah, good to see that they were able to get one of their own and foster yet another Malton team. So we got 2 this season. But jumping on to the next game, which was surprising to me. I've been away from the league for a few weeks now, but Omar's side says it all because he was on Iman. And Sabr was able to take it to Iman 3-0, where we had 3 stars of first star Asif Bika, who got a hat trick, Yusuf Kapoor. I'm
just burp.
You hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just wondering if
this is a production, man. What do you think? Like,
I thought I was on mute, to be honest.
Yusuf
Listen,
Kapoor, who
man.
was able to get a 16 shot shutout, and Altaf Panchati, who was kept off the board, but I got a few notes about him. But Omar, man who played the game, take it away, brother. That says it all.
Yeah, look, I mean, we've had a scoring problem. It's no secret. We have not scored a goal in 2 games, right? We won our first game, and then we've lost everything else, right? And so, um, credit to Subber. I think that the game was probably closer than the score dictated, right? Interestingly enough, there's a trade. I don't know if there's a graphic for that, but these two, yeah. So these two teams also engaged in a trade, and they swapped players, and I'll probably get into it at the end of the recap. But the incoming player who played against us on Friday, Ahmar Wasif, who was traded for Ahmed Khalid, he goes that he felt like the game was so tight. Like, it's not like we got hammered 3-0. Like, the last goal was an empty net goal. And honestly, it boiled down to defensive lapses, right? And so those 2 goals that were scored on us, it was just guys lost their coverage, and Asif only needs a split second to make you pay, right? So credit to Asif. And I do want to point out, I think that Yusuf Kapoor, I mean, I don't know if we need to have like a goalie player of the week, but like, I think Yusuf Kapoor has been a contender for both weeks in a row now. But unfortunately, he's been he doesn't find he doesn't find his way in the score sheet, so sometimes he gets overlooked a little bit. But I think last week he had something like
36. Yeah.
38, I think it was.
Yeah.
Right? 38 shots on him, right? And mashallah, like, I mean, he's a beast.
Yeah, it does. Looking at the score sheet, both goals, one came in the first period, one came in the second period, and of course we said the last goal was a empty net goal in the last 9 seconds, but both of those goals came in the last 2 minutes of each period. Are you guys getting gassed out? Like, what's happening to Iman that they're not able to sustain? Because when I look at this team, I saw Bilal Mohiddin, I saw sorry, that's the other team, but I saw Essen Zaidi on the back end, Adam Ahmed, Altaf Panchadi on the front end, Zaid Kadri, you, Omar. Like, I'm just looking at these big names, and Omar Hussein. I'm like, how are you guys not scoring? That's like, I saw the game as you guys are just playing off of your back foot. Like, Iman is just playing off the back foot. I expect Altaf to be running around everywhere and hounding guys. Same thing with Omar Hussein, but you guys are just saying, no. You guys can play your game. We'll play around you guys. What the heck's happening? Someone, did you catch? Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Someone didn't watch anything, man. Someone's just here for pretty as a pretty face, right? And so
again, no mashallah, man. This is ridiculous.
Mashallah. I mean, it was half sincere as it was. So, one credit to Subber though is that they block a lot of shots, right?
That's
so they block a lot of shots. So even though Omar had looks, Altaf had looks, right? Adam had looks. They didn't let anything get through, and they're so good at clogging the neutral zone as well that they almost disable a team like ours that needs to move. And the way that our team plays is we kind of weave our way into the zone, right? So we're not really a dump and chase sort of team, but against a team like Subber, I think you almost have to be, and you got to try to beat their defensemen to the punch. But I mean, it's not easy to play against Taib and Mohamed Khaler either.
Yeah, for sure. But it's not to take anything away from Subber. Like, they do have players like Bilal Mohiddin, Bika, Ahmed Mobeen, Mohib Shah. Like, these guys are just hard. Tayyab Khaler is hard-working players, and definitely, like you said, they were getting in the way of the shots, keeping you guys to the outside. But at a point, you just have to say, you know what, we'll take what we get and shoot from everywhere. Given you're still facing up against Yusuf Kapoor, I don't think you're going to get those awkward goals as you would get on me or another goalie. But hey, you guys need to find out just a different rhythm.
Yeah, I mean, we were missing Ahmed Khalid, we were missing Hussein, we were missing Bilal Alvi, we were missing Jaffer. So I mean, I think we were rolling with 2 lines, right? So we had 4D and 2 forward lines. Again, not an excuse, but
sounds like one.
I think Subber played a really well game. They played really well, and they deserved that win. And we're gonna have to see whether or not anyone is able to put a chink in their armor this season or not.
So
I
did you
think
guys not? But did you guys not even like figure out what the game plan was after you guys were down, like at the half?
I mean, the game was so close, right? It was 0-0 until the end of the first. They scored a goal, and then again, um, the second goal was a result of us pushing and trying to tie it, right? So you make some concessions defensively, and
Mhm.
that's really what happened, right? Our defensemen pushed up, and they kind of lost their coverage, and us have made up space. So
I think
Yeah, that's a good thing.
credit to Yusuf as well. He's had a pretty big week. Back-to-back shutouts in Iceland. Still no player of the week. I think 45 shots, 0 goals. As well as he had a pretty big week on the weekend with the York Phantoms, winning the DTBHL season MVP as well as playoff MVP. Kind of leading them to a chip. So definitely a big week for them. And I think if he can pull out one more big performance this week, inshallah, maybe he will finally get that player of the week. And funny enough, I think he lives closest to GC Burger as well out of everyone in the league. So maybe he'll go get free burgers. So
That's how you know. That's how you know that we're not deciding who the player of the week is. You know what I mean?
Dude, he has probably one of the most players. He has probably the most player of the weeks compared to any other goalie right now. So I can't take anything away from him. Mashallah, he's doing great, but he's got to let other people try to get it too. And talking about player of the week, yeah, he's had 2 really good back-to-back weeks, but we cannot discount the impact the first star of Eclas did. So our third game of the night was Eclas versus Isan. It was a 4-3 win for Eclas. First star being Ali Wadi, followed by Hamza Chaudhry, and then Daoud Siamber. But we can't negate the amount or the impact that Hamza and Ali both had on this game, and I can tell you at least that the first star or the player of the week is from this game. But there's going to be an infograph coming up, but it was a beautiful game to watch. Now, Omar, considering you again were the only person at the rink, unless Abdullah's got some.
I mean, I played in the game too, Majid.
Yeah,
barely.
Really?
Barely.
No, I did because I was on the second line.
Oh,
There was only 2 lines.
Oh.
in this game.
I mean, usually Salman's watching the game from the bench, so he would also be really
You're
good
the
to
best
talk about the
seats in
game.
the house.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
the
So-
best team in the house.
So then Salman, Mr. Azmat, please give us your breakdown of the game, brother.
Yeah, so here's the thing, man. Isan has some good pieces, and it's always surprising to see them come up short. Like really, when we were playing them last Friday, I was thinking, man, they're a good team, and I did not expect them to kind of let up like they did. I think Ali Wadi, they kind of made him look better. Not that, I mean, he deserves all the flowers. He's great. We can't do without you, Ali. But the thing is that they really gave him a lot of space, right? They gave him a lot of space, gave him a lot of time to think. There was really no hard forecheck. You could tell that in the second half, especially when the way they came out of the huddle, they were pressing us, and they kind of let up towards the second half of the second half. So that's kind of where we started to put pressure. And I think it's funny. It's like when you're short, you kind of have more of a mentality that you got to play harder, which I think was part of it. But right when we got that third goal, I think that kind of brought it back to us, like to kind of say, hey, we can still take this game. And that's how we won with 10 seconds left in the game. So, and the point that you previously made, Maju, Hamza made a huge difference, It's crazy. Mashallah, man. That kid, he's a difference maker for sure. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, so Hamza Chaudhry had 2 goals, 2 assists on the night. Ali Wadi had 1 goal, 3 assists on the night. And 3 of Eclas's 4 goals all came within the last 3 minutes and 3 seconds of the game.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the last game-winning goal off the stick of Ali Wadi came in at 10 seconds.
Yeah, the goalie was a little shaky, and I think we kind of exposed that. But that happens to the best goalie too, right?
Yeah, I don't really hear hear Shaky and Black Bear together, you know, that's kind of astounding. But hey, you know what? When you start scoring in bunches, like getting that one at that 3-minute mark, and then the next one at 2:22, it rattles the entire team.
Yeah.
And I think you're absolutely right that there was a point in time where you did see Isan getting rattled as the entire team, and they just couldn't find a way to stop the bleeding. You know, they actually almost had their put away goal. They were up 3-1 with 4:22 left in that game. But so yeah, 3-1. But you know, Isan just said, or Ikhlas just turned around and said, yeah, not happening. And within the last 3 minutes, they were able to just keep bringing it back. So that was just amazing to watch for me and to announce.
Ikhlas was also missing 3 players and
Yeah.
3 pretty good players. Ayaz, obviously, coming off serving his first of his 3-game suspension, and then also missing Rayan and Dawood as well due to suspension. So you know, to pull out a win in that fashion, I think it's definitely something that's going to go around the entire team. You know, to show that, you know, we can do this without our, you know, 3 of our you know, top 5, top 6 players. So you know, definitely you know, something to look out for Ikhlas in
the expectation was just for a tie, so the win felt good. Alhamdulillah.
I mean, it seems like there are teams that are getting hot almost at the wrong time, right? Because I mean, usually this would be good, right? Because we're hitting this was game 6. Most teams have played 5 games so far, and you know, if a team goes on a heater at this point, right, it's like, oh well, we can take this into the playoffs, but instead you're taking it into Ramadan, and you're going to be off for four weeks or so, and then you almost have to do it all over again and kind of find your footing again, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how things shake out after Ramadan. But I guess getting as many points as you can at this point is not going to hurt you either.
And I think the mentality is also that, hey, if we have this heat going in, it'll help to keep the samosas and the weight related to samosas off for Ramadan, and then you'll come back in stride. But just a warning to all of you guys out there: don't let the samosas get the better of you, man. I know I've been there. I see them too, but you got to stay away. You got to stay away, man.
Yeah, you're talking about samosas, but there's pakore, there's biryani, there's all of it, man. It's not just samosa.
You gotta have a disciplined league rule. You know, I think all GMs should be sending something out for the group chat just so we continue to you know, keep our level of intensity this season.
Listen, Abdullah, there's too many rules as there are, okay?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll give somebody a half a game suspension.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me about it. Tell me about
You
it.
think Salman actually reads what's this rule book? He looks at it, flips through, and just, okay, I know the rules.
It's because I don't get penalties. I'm a good boy. That's why. Anyways.
Now, jumping into the last game of the night, I don't even know how much really we can talk about this. You know, it's a difficult, touchy subject. We had Yakin winning. I don't want to say beating up on Rida, 7-0.
Looks
and
like
of
a
course,
beat down to me.
You just said it.
I said it, but I didn't say it. So be quiet. Now,
Were they playing football?
that being not said, you know, they only had, so Yakin only had 2 goals in the first period, right? And most of their goals came in the last, well, I guess 12 minutes in the second period, and then onwards just kept coming. But I guess you guys, no one was really there, but like it almost felt like Yakin was almost taking it easy a little bit. But on the other side,
I don't know
when you have
about
a
that.
3-man back line,
I don't know about that. I heard that
when you have a 3-man back line, that really does stifle any team for entering your zone, and really does help to. It's like that old school New Jersey Devils defense, right?
Maju, the thing is, you know you're in trouble if Habibi's on your defensive line. Okay.
No, he played well.
Yeah, he did. He actually, you're right. He didn't actually play that bad.
Dude, and considering they had 11 shots on net, like, and they had some really good chances too.
It's true.
Right? Like Zahir definitely wanted to score against his Malton friends, right?
Yeah.
So he definitely tried. And then of course there was that. If anyone's been on what Shiraz Bhai's Twitter, then we all know about that little crazy ending of.
I think for Yakin to put up a touchdown against Rida, it was obviously there has to be some credits over there, but I think it was, I believe, like 4-0 or 5-0 with like 3 minutes to go, and their line one was still out there, still trying to, I guess, go for the stat pad and try to take Yusuf Siddiqui and Asif Bika and Muhib Shah off of the leaderboard, because I think we saw a lot of, just individual plays and, trying to just really score and run up the scoreboard. One of the talks is actually was, is that something that, no, having your GMs out there as well, and, having your second and third liners continuing to, sit on the bench, even in a 5-0, 6-0 game with, a couple minutes to go. Is that something that we want to, I guess, encourage, or, we want to get the other guys on the rink as well. So,
The brothers are worried about the scoring title, but they're not worried about the Brotherhood Award. How interesting is that, eh?
Look, guys, they didn't do anything against the rules, right? I mean, the whole point is
but they hurt their feelings.
Sure,
You know what I mean?
Sure. I think, but I do think you hit the nail on the head, right? Because I mean, look, there's times in other games where you need to shorten your bench, right? And you need to maybe have your GMs on, and these kind of games are the kind of games where you give other guys opportunity to play, right? And so, instead, maybe you're on the third line, you're taking third line minutes, right? And you're giving guys the opportunity. Like, you find you scored whatever 2 or 3 goals, like that's probably enough. And then you let. I mean, if the third and second line will go out and they score, that's great, right? You take that, but I mean, I think, look, we saw what happened to Ikhlas last week when you have your GMs on in a game that's already largely over, right? And so there's no need for that. But again, if let's say I'm 4 goals behind the leader, and I want that personal accolade, right? And I see a game like this, I'm gonna go for it, right? I mean, I'm not gonna go for it, but I'm just saying, like, if I was 15 years younger, I might go for it, right? Because I care about the trophy. So look, I understand why, but I mean, I think that these are the games where you let your second and third line play, and you give them. That's the only way they can get better too, right? Is by being on the floor, and it's not like I've been in games. I've actually been in a playoff game where we've been in that situation where we had no bench. I think Salman, I think you were on that team as well.
I think so too. Yeah.
Right, and so you can probably hold them off for the first half, and then after that, like, your legs are jelly, right? You're not running anymore, and then you are relying on your goalie, right, to sort of try to pull some magic out of his hat, right? So
although your legs are jelly, are your knees, arms, and
I know what you're trying to do.
And vomit on his sweater already?
no.
Anyways, but I got to say,
Good effort.
Shiraz,
Good effort.
yeah, I know I lost it. I had it there in my head, but Shiraz Bhai played an amazing game. And that little controversy, I want to say, in the end, as a goalie, I look at it as, okay, if you're going to run up the score, you're going to run up the score, right? The team's job is to stop it. My job is to make the save, whatever. But what I don't appreciate is when the play is blown dead at the blue line because of offside, then the player walking it in and walking the ball in.
I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was a blue line. It was
an offside, dude.
Yeah,
it was an offside.
Yeah.
But
I mean, nonetheless.
What do you mean by walking it in? Like, I wasn't there. What does that mean?
So what happened? If I can just explain it to you here, I believe it was Omer actually. He walked it into.
We're not naming any names, but
Yeah, listen, I'm pretty sure it was it. But yeah, he walked it in, and the play was dead, and then he kind of just tapped the ball into the back of the net. Which, I mean, you have a full team; they have no bench. I don't see that to be necessary. But
he got a warning, but in no way is it necessary by any means.
Yeah.
The play is dead at the blue; it's offside. There's no reason that you need to continue on taking the ball to the offensive zone and then also making sure that it goes into the back of the net.
Yeah, and it should also be noted that Rida had, I believe, 6 players. Well, with the suspensions, they also had 6 players on Umrah.
Yeah, so. And of course, Habibi would like to chime in and say, trust the process. Trust the process.
I mean, you make yourself look silly, and like, I'll be explicit here, right? Like, you make yourself look like an idiot if you're showboating against a team that has no subs. Like, come on, guys.
One
Yeah.
thing to note though, one of the talking points that we want to talk about is when is there the risk when you draft family and everyone that I guess carpools together from Cambridge or whatnot, whatever the situation is, when there is an event like this where you have multiple guys out, is this a risk that you take kind of for your entire team? Because Rida was actually on I believe a 3-game winning streak before this, and having an absolute I'll say what it is, it was an absolute beatdown. Right, it looked like one team was playing football, and I think is this something that I guess was a lack of insight on their part, or knowing that they're all going to kind of be absent, or was it just
I
something
mean,
that
people don't just wake up in the morning and plan to go for Umrah, right? Like this is
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like this is not like,
that's-
oh well, you know what? I think we should all go for Umrah next week,
All of Cambridge went, so why
right?
not?
So
Right?
yeah, I
Yeah.
think that this is something that they obviously had planned. They conveniently didn't put it in their scouting report, but I mean, their GMs are their family. I guess it's a risk that you take, but I mean, I think they were probably well aware that we were going to be short. They were going to be short this week. So I guess they just didn't expect that.
The suspensions didn't help,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like, I mean,
Right, so-
they would have probably have been
It was
fine.
one player. It was Mohamed Saleh. So it's a very a great
Is
player.
Wakar gone Umrah too?
Oh yeah, and Wakar. Never mind. So 2 players.
Oh, dude, that's
Sadik as well.
yeah. Those are three key players, man.
My apologies. I wasn't
Yeah.
even.
But I mean,
Apology
even still, like,
accepted.
I mean, look, they would have been fine. There would have been 2 guys on the bench. But like Umrah is Umrah. You gotta go, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's one of those things where if you draft, your entire Umrah group with you, then what can you do?
And to be fair, Abdullah, if this was a football game, it's a pretty weak football game. It's only 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
But regardless, the last topic is our GC Player of the Week. So of course it was Mr. Ali Wadi scoring the game-winning goal with 10 seconds to go, garnering himself a goal and 3 assists for 4 points on the night. And I believe he was also another league's Player of the Week as well. So I believe he got 2 Player of the Weeks in the same week.
Yeah, he's having a good week.
Having a good week. He's treats himself to some burgers and.
Yeah. You know what I don't understand? Is it Juicy Burger or is it like I know that it's GC Burger, but are they trying to say Juicy but just with acronym?
I don't know. You live in Mississauga. You tell us.
I'm gonna go find out later on tonight. Anyways,
Please let us know.
I'll let you know.
Okay, so Salman is our investigative reporter then, and he's gonna go find out and let everyone know on
Yeah,
some sort of Instagram or chat or somewhere.
You can also send me some rumors if anyone is interested.
Sounds good.
So, do we want to give our predictions for this week? For tomorrow?
Oh dang, we don't even have that scorecard. So let me just.
I'll put it up, or I'll just say it. So our first game is Taqwa versus Sabr. You have top versus bottom. What do you guys? I think personally, I think I'm really excited to see that. I think it could be a very big statement game, especially if Adil Patel does play. Taqwa, this could be the game that turns their season around, and their top 4 run isn't out of the question. I think, especially given I think there's 4 games left in the regular season, 5 games left in the regular season. The top getting that bye to the quarterfinals is still kind of on the cards. But I also think that Sabr could go for their, I believe, seventh win of the season. So what do you guys think?
I think if Sabr wins, there is nothing stopping them at this point, especially with the addition of Adil Patel, right? Like,
what do you mean the addition of? He was on the Taqwa, man.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if Adil Patel can't stop them,
stop
Sabr. Yeah. Sorry, I should have clarified that.
Yeah, my if I was a betting man, I think my money would be if Adil Patel plays. I think I'm gonna toss my hat to Taqwa. If he's not playing though, I think Sabr squeaks it out.
Is there any reason for him not to play?
I don't know. I haven't talked to him.
Okay.
Unless he's waiting for a shipment of sticks or something. I don't know. I think he should be expected to play, to show up and play. So, but our next game is then Iman and Rida. So who? Well,
They're still on Umrah.
Are they?
I don't know. Actually, I would assume you'd go for long, right? You're
No, I think they're back. I believe they're back. Some chatter from the Rida chat is that some of their guys are back. So I think they're gonna get one player in Wakar back from suspension. So that's a pretty big addition to them. And
Mo Saleh.
oh, yeah, and Mohamed Saleh, yeah. So two big players back from suspension, and I think they're gonna be back with a vengeance. Maybe we might see a player of the week wearing blue, tomorrow. So
As long as it's not a Leaf player, then it's all good.
yeah, I think Iman definitely needs to figure something out and figure it out fast because having traded Ahmed Khalid, who arguably could have maybe resulted in a bigger return on what they had. They really need their top players to start putting it in the back of the net because you don't win games on we almost had it or we had this much possession. It goes off whatever's in the scoreboard. So I think it could be another big game for for Iman, similar to how Takwa Saber. So I think Rida will take this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if Iman really comes out hard and tries to take an early lead.
Well, and we were talking about this earlier, but Iman is also with Yusuf Kapoor. They're looking for another shutout.
Yusuf's on Saber, no?
Yeah, he's on Suburb.
Oh, he's on Saber.
But,
So, yeah,
but does Iman even have a game plan, Asawi? Like, what's the chatter like?
Yeah, man. The game plan is shoot the ball and score the goal.
All right, so we're gonna go with Rida for my pick. Next game.
I do have a prediction, and again, I have no insider information or anything like that, but I do think that if Iman loses again, you'll probably see more moves coming.
Oh.
One question: is there a transaction limit this season?
There's a team is allowed to make 3 trades.
So they have 2 more trades to go. They have
you can trade as many players as you want in the actual trade, but you're only allowed to do 3 trades in the entire season.
Interesting.
Okay, so then our next game takes us right into Ikhlas and Haya. So the Haya Hustle versus Ikhlas, who's coming off of a pretty dang good performance.
Yeah, I think we're coming into this game knowing that it's going to be a tough one. I mean, Haya is, I believe, right behind Suber, so it's going to be a tough battle. Are they, Abdullah?
We're 3rd or 4th.
Third? Okay.
I believe 4th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, either way,
I
I think the team kind of feels like it's going to be a tough battle, so it's going to be a good game, inshallah.
Okay, and last but not least, Yakin and Ihsan. So we got White coming off a 7-0 win, and Ihsan coming off of a heartbreaking loss.
I think. I do think the veteran presence on Ihsan will probably slow Yakin down a little bit, but I mean the reality is that these kids are highly skilled, right? And so it's going to be a real. There's like almost 2 extremes in this game. That you have the kids that can run forever, and then the veterans who can not. And so, right? And so I think that Ihsan's going to want to play this, very smart and try not to get chasing them around the rink. Really try to hold them up at the blue line and then to seize your opportunity if and when it becomes available.
We might also see Shakib Ahmed make his Ihsan debut tomorrow. So
nice.
They traded Mokazi, I believe, their 1st-round pick for him. So this could be a move that really changes their back end. And so only time will tell. That's just speculation from my sources, but I think if he is there, he can give Yakin that hard time. But at the same time, there are also shouts that Yakin could make a 4-peat hypothetically in going for 4 straight Yakin titles for Islam, which has never been done. But the only time will tell. So
we'll see.
Okay, so that being said, that takes us to the end of our production. But any last thoughts from anyone?
Not from me. Just hope that we can score a goal tomorrow.
And Solman is betting against that, so that's going to be something else to watch.
No, I'm not betting against that. I do actually really like Iman. I do hope they score. I'm just thinking it's not looking good so far.
Let's see. Let's see.
Well, guys, I hope everyone scores a lot of goals. That just keeps me busy in the announcing box, so that'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully, again, you guys can give us some feedback if you guys are able to hear the scores and everything outside of the rink. And inshallah, we'll keep that going. But
Sure.
jazakallah everyone for being on and participating in yet another podcast. But inshallah, I will see you guys tomorrow.
All right,
Assalamu
Assalamu alaikum,
alaikum.
guys.
Like
Free,
Everyone.
free Palestine.